We come to anchorman Grant Hicks giving a news report already in progress. News voiceover says it's the KREL News, Central Jersey's #1 news hour with Grant Hicks. Grant Hicks says, "Good evening, I'm Grant Hicks, here now the news. Last year in Vatican City, the Catholic Church introduced the official mascot of their 2025 Jubilee, an adorable anime-adjacent moppet named Luce. Designed by Tokidoki founder Simone Legno, Luce, which means light, was inspired by the Catholic Church's desire to live even within the pop culture so beloved by our youth, according to Archbishop Rino Fiscella." And then there's an asterisk, which takes you to an editorial box where it says, "This is an actual thing the Catholic Church did and said. I swear to God, I didn't make this shit up." Google it, Kev. If you've seen Luce, it looks like a little Hello Kitty character, but it's a little child. And I don't know who at the Catholic Church thought those optics were good, but there it is. Grant says, but our top story tonight is about the former officially sanctioned mascot of the Catholic Church, the Buddy Christ. The historic St. Michael's Church in the East Liberty section of Red Bank was the victim of a religious robbery last night. Local authorities revealed that the parish's Buddy Christ statue was stolen from St. Michael's sometime in the evening. Sculpted by Archbishop Dave Deneen, this particular Buddy Christ statue is a priceless prototype, having made its American debut at St. Michael's back in 1999, where it's been ensconced ever since. Police have no leads, so they're asking the public for help in finding both the stolen savior as well as the belligerent brigands who burgled Buddy. Man, you go to page 2 and 3, it's a splash page, which means both pages are taken up by this giant image. And it says, "Exterior Cemetery Night. Jay and Silent Bob each carry an end of the Buddy Christ statue through a graveyard at night." And the box says, "Meanwhile," and Leonardo, and Jay says,
"Jesus Christ, this motherfucker's heavy."
In a wide shot, page 4, panel 1, in a wide shot, Jay and Silent Bob put the Buddy Christ on the ground, standing up over a very specific headstone. Jay says,
"Right here."
Then they lean on either side of the Buddy Christ to catch their breath, man. Silent Bob's checking his pulse. Jay says,
"He ain't heavy, he's my brother. Nooch."
In a high overhead, Jay starts pouring a white powder around the Buddy Christ statue and the specific headstone, creating a binding circle that he and Silent Bob are outside of. Jay says,
"Okay, first we form a binding circle to protect our asses from some supernatural shit that's not of this earth."
At the base of the Buddy Christ statue, Jay pours out the contents of the kind of soup container you get at the hot food section of the grocery store. Silent Bob smiles, satisfied, as Jay says,
"Next, we were supposed to spill the blood of a fatted calf, but since Mr. Vegan Vagina told me a horrid no, out loud even, we gotta substitute the blood for a stupid-ass plant-based bone broth."
Page 5, splash page. Silent Bob holds aloft a book. It looks like the Necronomicon, but it has Silent Bob's face in it. Jay stands beside Silent Bob, looking up at the book as Jay says,
"Now we read the incantation from Silent Bob's Book of the Dead, the Necrobobicon."
Page 6, panel 1, biggest panel on the page. Silent Bob holds the book open for Jay to read from as if they're at mass. Jay has his arms raised and the pair stand over the headstone, the name of which we still don't see. Magic swirls about the Buddy Christ statue within the binding circle as Jay yells out,
"Hear me, heavenly host! To this blessed binding circle I summon your servant,
who?
The angel of death!"
Lightning from the heavens strikes the binding circle, throwing Jay and Bob backwards, casting a bright light. Jay says,
"Ah!" Did we catch it?
Hold on. I just gotta take a moment to appreciate that fucking performance. I felt the light and shit. Give it up for Jason Mewes.
Yeah!
Wow. Okay, close on Jay and Silent Bob, shielding their eyes from the bright light while trying to see something off panel. Jay says,
"Did we catch it? Is that the angel of death?"
And then from off panel we hear a voice that says,
"No."
"Ooh." Oliver brings the bread already. Page 7, splash page. Over Jay and Bob onto the angel Metatron, who leans with his back against the Buddy Christ statue, wings spread, looking mildly irritated. Metatron says,
"But I'm tempted to murder the hell out of both of you."
Holy shit, Silent Bob! It's Megatron!
Make sure the mic is right in his face. If you're doing it this way, you're going to face us. Don't face them. Fuck them. It's just us. Look at your director. Put the script in front of the mic so you're not looking away from it. You're looking straight down that mic right in your face like a mic. Next year we'll make the real joke. Okay, here we go. Are you feeling it, Oliver? You're feeling it?
I am now.
You're bringing when we recognize the people who we've lost, we bring them back. So you are fucking bringing Alan Rickman back to us right now. Page 8, panel 1. Metatron now stands at the edge of the binding circle, dressing down Jay and Silent Bob, his hands on his hips. He says,
Metatron, not Megatron, and I'm not to be toyed with.
I see what you did there. And speaking of see, long time no see, Big Bird.
A quarter century is not long enough.
Look, if you're gonna be that way about it, to be honest, we weren't even looking for you.
Metatron, dropping his wings into a relaxed position, says,
I know, you're invoking the Angel of Death, but as there has been no Angel of Death since Loki was banished, I'm afraid your blatant blasphemy has fallen on deaf ears.
Speak fucking English, yo.
Let's just cut right there. That is my favorite fucking joke in the whole script. Just taking a second off to appreciate the writer, something that's never done nearly enough. Here we go. Ready, Oliver? And action.
Jesus wept in the parlance of your time. New foe, who dis?
Give it up for fucking Oliver. Metatron walks around the binding circle at the edge of which stand an embarrassed Jay and Silent Bob, and Metatron says to them,
Additionally, while your childlike Naviette on the subject is absolutely adorable, I'm afraid a correction is in order.
all right, let's cut right there, man. Stop butchering my fucking words. You caught yourself, but you also missed naivete.
Oh, that's what it is?
Yeah, but that's a word that like 17-year-olds, they don't know. So we're going to take it from additionally, and you're doing it, man. You've got this.
What's the pronunciation one more time?
Naivete.
Naivete.
Fuck it. Well done. A good actor asks questions. You see that? Take a page out. Oliver, if you get this right, I gotta fucking re-up partners, get rid of him. Ollie and Silent Bob has a ringtone. All right, here we go, man. Starting from additionally, take 2 and action.
Additionally, while your childlike
Naivete.
on the subject is absolutely adorable, I'm afraid a correction is in order. Human beings can only bind demons in summoning circles, not angels. So when you started your ceremony, the denizens of heaven and Marseille watched and laughed. There was also an unfortunate bit of decidedly unchristian name-calling. So for the sake of what little dignity you've ever fostered, I elected to intercede.
Give it up for fucking Aural. An irritated Jay looks at a sheepish Silent Bob and says,
Are you trying to tell me that the Necrobabicon, Silent Bob's Book of the Dead, is full of shit?
Metatron bends down to put his finger at the edge of the binding circle. He says,
No more than so any other term transcribed by human hands, like the Bible or Dianetics.
close on Metatron. As he sniffs the dust on his finger, he goes sniff, sniff, and then he looks up with a single raised eyebrow and he says,
Is this binding circle made of marijuana?
Jay and Silent Bob are very proud of themselves. Jay says,
That's concentrated cannabis keef, Chief. You want me to roll your joint with it?
Metatron says,
Seraphim are highest choir of angels, not angels who get high. And while it has been quite some time since we last met, I do recall you both being ignorant in all things otherworldly, if not all things in general, which begs the question,
go ahead.
Why on earth are you trying to contact heaven?
We got a request.
Metatron looks at the Buddy Christ statue as Jay and Bob look on. He says,
We call those prayers, but this isn't a prayer, prophets. This is a theological theft. So why are you two in a cemetery performing this silly ceremony with a stolen statue?
give it up for fucking Oliver. That's a lot of words. whatsoever, lean more British. The more British you get, the more we'll fucking hear it. Panel 4, Jay and Bob present the headstone that they've built their entire ceremony around, the inscription of which we finally can read. Dante Hicks, husband, friend, clerk. I'm not even supposed to be here today. Jay says,
Ever since our friend died, there's this big hole of hurt around Quick Stop. She's just not the same anymore because everyone's still sad. So we figured we'd try to, bring him back.
Metatron looks at Jay and Silent Bob like they're kids who just said the cutest thing ever.
By conjuring death itself?
Let's cut. Look at that word one more time.
Oh, conquering.
Well done. Well done. Believe me, it took him 12 years. It took you 12 seconds. You're doing good. Take it from there again and action.
By conquering death itself?
Look, if I had to, I was ready to whip out my pocket knife. But don't tell anybody I got a pocket knife, yo.
Your secret is safe with me.
Metatron pulls a stray feather from one of his wings as he talks to a hopeful Jay and Silent Bob. He says,
As for the other matter, I'm afraid an amateur resurrection is out of the question. Human beings can't be entrusted with dominion over the dead because, well, as a species, you're all too far sentimental.
You're scented metal.
Sentimental. It means you have a hard time letting go. The human understanding of object permanence often extends, incorrectly, into the emotional. So you take one another for granted, appreciating each only after they're gone for good. Not a very kosher way to run a synagogue, as she's fond of saying.
give it up for fucking Aural!
Yeah!
If I discovered you 30 years ago, I would have had a much different career. Over Metatron onto Jay, his arms folded, irritated. Silent Bob points at Jay as if he's right, while Jay says,
Look, are you gonna help us bring our boy back from the dead? Or do we gotta summon someone else? Like one of them angels with balls?
on Metatron unbuttoning his pants as he says,
Good luck with that.
behind or over Metatron as he drops his pants onto the horrified Jay and Silent Bob, Metatron says.
As you can clearly see,
And then we see Metatron standing there with his pants around his knees, showing off a smooth, sexless crotch, Metatron says.
angels are as anatomically impaired as a Ken doll.
Panel 2, Jay and Silent Bob's expressions are that of relief, as Jay says.
I thought you were gonna be like, you want your friend back? Then start sucking. But you ain't got nothing to suck.
Metatron refastens his pants as he says,
You should see me scissor, sister.
that was fucking Alan Rickman right there. Give it up for boy. And action.
As for your cadaverous colleague, whose grave you seek to rob,
Biggest panel on the page, high overhead of Metatron as he leans atop Dante's grave, addressing Jay and Silent Bob. Metatron says,
I am the Metatron, herald of the Almighty and voice of the one true God. As the Lorax spoke for the trees, the Metatron speaks for the Lord, and the Lord would like me to politely remind you to calamities of catechism of an inconvenient truth. When it comes to those who've triumphed over the grave, it is a very exclusive club.
give it up for Oliver, man. And did you see how fucking he didn't understand the thing and he looked at me and I was like, catechism. Rather than fucking like butcher it like criticism. It's okay to ask questions.
Fair
Learn from
enough.
fucking Oliver. Here we
Fair
go.
enough.
And action.
Can't that club include our friend Sergio?
Metatron indicates the name on the grave where he's leaning.
Dante, not Sergio. Regardless, no. Your friend had his time.
Metatron stands again. Jay throws up the horns to Silent Bob after Metatron says,
Let this absence in your life act as a regular reminder to appreciate all those who are still present. That is the gift of death.
Ooh, the gift of death would be an awesome name for a King Diamond song.
Metatron has his wings spread as he says,
To quote from the great work, the universe has to move forward. Pain and loss, they define us as much as happiness and love. Whether it is a world or a relationship, everything has its time, and everything ends.
Wow, that shit actually made me feel better. Is it from the Bible?
Doctor Who Season 2, Episode 4. Entitled School Reunion. Written by Toby Whithouse and expertly acted by Elizabeth Sladen. Point is, look around you, boys. Your friend is here right now.
Jay and Silent Bob strike back-to-back defensive poses, preparing to karate chop a ghost, as Jay says.
Holy shit, we gotta fight a poltergeist, Silent Bob! You trying to ghost us, Casper? Bustin' makes me feel fucking good!
Over the overly defensive Jay and Bob onto Metatron, who smiles warmly, even patiently, when he says,
Your dead friend isn't here physically. I was speaking more metaphysically.
excellent catch, man. Biggest panel on the page. Metatron, arms and wings spread wide, he says.
The atoms that build your body have existed since the very beginning of the universe, formed from stardust billions of years before your birth. And as it can neither be created nor destroyed, all the energy introduced by the Big Bang at the infancy of existence is a fixed quantity that remains the same to this day. Do you know what that means?
Metatron cups his mouth, whispering to a mystified Jay and Silent Bob. He whispers,
It means your friend never left. He's still here, all around you.
Like the fucking Force.
Metatron rolls his eyes, man.
You people. If there isn't a movie about it, it's not worth knowing, is it?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Metatron points to the Buddy Christ statue and he says,
Return Buddy Christ to his perch in the church, gentlemen. Once you do, I can at least erase that transgressive entry from your sin ledger.
Yeah, Sin Ledger would be an awesome name for a King Diamond song.
Jay turns to Metatron, who's looking up, preparing to leave, as Metatron says,
One King Diamond reference I can abide by, but two? Two means there's most certainly a third en route. So, it's time I go.
Wait, we got questions. How's Rufus and Stripper Dippity? Yo, how's the girl in the tutu?
We're gonna get a little Dogma fucking sequel right here, man. Metatron explains, go ahead.
Rufus has found reward. In the age of streaming, serendipity has been bruisier than ever. And God, she remains a mystery. As inscrutable as an average Apple agreement.
An arms crossed Metatron addresses a shy Jay and Silent Bob, their hats in their hands, as Jay says,
Maskatron?
Metatron.
We got one more thing to say before you go.
Well then,
Jay and Silent Bob, all sorts of serious, say,
Me and Silent Bob just want to say that it was a real honor and privilege to get to work with you that one time. Back when we saved the world, you know, the kind of circles we travel in, we don't get to meet a lot of people who are excellent at what they do. You were, and still are, one of our favorite people we ever met, yo. We were lucky to even know you. And on top of that, we miss you.
so that's not just the character of Jay, that's naturally how we fucking feel about Alan as well. On Metatron, who says,
you're both very sweet stoners. And if you're to keep your noses clean, you just may see me again one day.
over Metatron onto Jay and Silent Bob, as Metatron says,
But in the meantime, I should go. Before this classless reunion gets too scented metal.
Metatron urges Jay and Silent Bob to step back as he spreads his wings wide. Metatron says,
You might want to take a step back.
So we don't get hurt?
No.
Splash page. Metatron takes off into the sky, leaving a tiny Jay and Bob on the ground far below, flying at us like Superman, wings wide. Metatron says,
So your jaw has somewhere to drop.
give it up for Oliver, man. Just to take us home, kids, page 20. Jay and Silent Bob, backed by the Buddy Christ statue, stare into the sky. Then we go wider in the next panel to reveal a mourning family is at the adjacent grave, staring very wide-eyed at Jay and Silent Bob. Jay and Silent Bob look back, and then Jay says,
"We're buying a stairway to heaven."
and then Jay says,
Yo, Stairway to Heaven would be an awesome name for a King Diamond song.
"Give it up for Jay!"
Yeah!
Oliver, what up before you grab, man? Let's grab a quick review and shit. I just noticed for the first time you're wearing a Jay and Silent Bob shirt. You were the right pick. How'd that feel, man?
Felt great.
Right?
Definitely unlike anything I've done before. I do theater a lot at my school, but doing this up here in front of a crowd like this is something I've never done before.
Yeah!
3 decades of no bullshit, man. For somebody who came in cold. Now you gotta remember, like, I know all those fucking words and shit. He's read it a few times, so he's got fucking experience on it. Plus, he's been playing the fucking character 30 years. Now you hit that fucking shit cold, and you hit it and did not quit it, man. You were absolutely wonderful. Give it up for all of them.
Yeah! Yeah! Great job. Good job, man.